Starting in September, veterans across the country are going to get a letter, an email, or a notification on va.gov that most of them will almost skim past. It won't look dramatic, it'll look like paperwork, but buried inside is a decision that could add up to thousands of dollars a year for some veterans and quietly cost others money if they get it wrong. There's a new concurrent benefits choice rolling out this fall, and the window to make that decision opens before most veterans even realize it's happening. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's changing, who it affects, and the one detail almost nobody's talking about that could determine which option actually puts more money in your pocket. Hey, on this channel, I break down the financial changes that actually affect veterans and seniors directly. The new rules, the benefits you already qualify for, the deadlines nobody sends you a warning about. This is the kind of thing I cover constantly, and if that's useful to you, go ahead and hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Let's get into what's actually happening this September. For years, veterans with 20 or more years of service and a VA disability rating of 50% or higher have dealt with something called concurrent retirement and disability pay, or CRDP. And here's what most folks get wrong. This wasn't a simple extra payment. Before this, if you qualified for both military retired pay and VA disability compensation, the government offset one against the other. CRDP was supposed to fix that by letting eligible veterans receive both in full without the offset, eating into their check. That part hasn't changed. What is changing is the calculation underneath it, thanks to provisions passed in this year's National Defense Authorization Act. Starting October 1st, a new program is launching called the Veterans Choice for Concurrent Benefits. And September is where the real decision begins. Eligible veterans are being given a window to actively choose between two paths. Option 1, stick with the standard full CRDP structure you're already used to. Option 2, elect a blended payment arrangement that restructures how the retired pay and disability compensation interact. The biggest mistake is assuming one option wins for everyone. It doesn't. For some veterans, especially those with certain combinations of retirement pay grade and disability rating, the blended option can actually work out to more money annually. For others, it works out to less. There is no universal right answer here. That is exactly why this decision window matters instead of the VA just applying one formula to everyone automatically. Stay with me, because the third detail is the one that catches people who swear they did everything right. My name is on this channel because I spend my time breaking down these benefit changes that directly affect veterans and seniors. Nothing to sell you here. The goal is simple. Explain what changes, what doesn't, and what you can actually do with the information. Because the truth is, complicated paperwork has always been where people lose power. And there are systems that benefit when people don't understand their choices. Not because anyone has to imagine a conspiracy, but because confusion means fewer people ask questions, fewer people compare options, and fewer people claim what they may already qualify for. This information puts that power back in your hands. Now let's go through what matters. Number 1, understand the choice before you make it. The first thing to know is that this is not just another VA notice to file away. What most people get wrong is thinking a government letter automatically means the best option has already been selected for them. It hasn't. The letter that goes out in September is presenting a choice and a deadline. Think about a retired Army veteran, 22 years of service, rated at 70% disability. Depending on how their retired pay was calculated and which tax treatment applies to each portion of the check, the blended option might shift more of their income into a category that's treated differently for survivor benefit planning down the road. Someone else with a shorter career and a higher disability rating could see the opposite result. The right move is not guessing. The right move is comparing your own numbers. The wrong option is assuming the VA will automatically choose the path that gives you the most benefit. That assumption can leave money and planning opportunities on the table. Pull your most recent statement of military retired pay and your current VA compensation letter. Put them side by side. Check them against whatever numbers come through with the new election paperwork. If the two documents don't line up, that discrepancy is worth flagging before you sign anything. What you should feel for is simple. Your documents should tell the same story. If the numbers look confusing, stop and ask questions. Don't sign through confusion. Number 2, understand what happens if you miss the window. Here's what most folks get wrong. They believe doing nothing is always neutral. It isn't. Veterans who miss the election window or who assume the VA will pick the better option for them may end up defaulted into whatever the standard structure is going forward. The expensive mistake is ignoring the notice because it looks like ordinary paperwork. The better method is simple. Open the notice, compare the options. Use your actual retirement pay and compensation numbers. You do not need to understand every complicated formula by yourself before starting. What this won't do is magically tell you which option is right without looking at your personal situation. Every veteran's numbers can be different. Measure it yourself. Don't take my word for it. If the paperwork matches your records, that's a good sign. If something feels off, that's the moment to investigate. Simple check, big difference. Number 3, the survivor protection detail almost nobody asks about. This is where many veterans focus too late. Whichever option you choose can affect how your compensation is calculated if you're also receiving or ever plan to receive combat-related special compensation. The two programs interact, and here's the surprise. Veterans who are eligible for both should not assume the same math applies evenly across each one. The wrong approach is treating these benefits like separate boxes that never touch. They can interact. The right approach is getting someone familiar with these programs to review your actual situation. A veteran service officer or an accredited representative can walk through the specific interaction with your numbers. Given how new this program is, that conversation is worth having before the deadline rather than after. The sign of a good decision is not just a bigger number today, it's understanding how that decision affects tomorrow. Stay with me, because there are other fall changes that can affect veterans and families at the same time. Before we get to the final action list, remember this: the benefits, the discounts, the assistance programs most veterans and seniors qualify for but never actually use. I gathered them all in one spot, organized by state and by program, so you don't have to dig through confusing government websites for hours. It's quick, it's straightforward, and any veteran can find exactly what fits their situation. No matter what state you're in, there's help out there you're probably leaving on the table. It's called the Senior Exemption Playbook, and it's sitting in the first pinned comment right under this video. Just tap it once and you'll have everything you need. Now stay right here, because the last one is where this new plan actually turns into its biggest number. The survivor protection detail buried inside the election paperwork that almost nobody filling it out in September ever thinks to ask about. Alongside the concurrent benefits rollout, a few other pieces are moving this fall that are worth having on your radar at the same time, because they all touch the same paperwork season. Number 4, review benefits you may have overlooked. Dependency and indemnity compensation, the benefit paid to surviving spouses of veterans who died from a service-connected condition, saw a meaningful increase for deaths occurring after January 1st of this year, along with expanded eligibility criteria for certain conditions. If you're a surviving spouse who was denied DIC in the past, or who never applied because you assumed you didn't qualify, it's worth revisiting that determination now, rather than assuming the old rules still apply. The wrong move is assuming an old denial is the final answer. Rules change. eligibility changes, your situation deserves another look. Number 5, check your PACT Act options. The PACT Act continues expanding as well. Veterans exposed to burn pits, Agent Orange, contaminated water, or other toxic substances during service have access to a growing list of presumptive conditions. Presumptive means the burden of individually proving the service connection has been lifted for dozens of illnesses. If you served in a covered location and haven't filed, or filed years ago and were denied before your condition was added to the presumptive list, that denial doesn't have to be the final word. A supplemental claim with updated evidence can reopen it. The wrong belief is that one denial closes the door forever. It doesn't. Check what changed. Number 6, protect your effective date. There is also continued movement around how the VA rates certain conditions going forward, including proposed changes to sleep apnea, tinnitus, and mental health evaluations. None of these changes are finalized as of this recording. Veterans with an existing rating are generally protected from an automatic reduction. But if you've been sitting on a claim for one of these conditions and putting off filing, the current criteria may be more favorable than whatever eventually replaces it. Filing an intent to file on va.gov costs nothing and locks in a potential effective date while you gather documentation, even if you're not ready to submit the full claim yet. The best time to protect your options is before you need them. Number 7, don't overlook aid and attendance. For veterans receiving aid and attendance, the additional allowance paid to those who need help with daily activities, eligibility still comes down to the same 3 pillars: qualifying wartime service, financial need, and medical need. This benefit gets overlooked constantly because veterans assume it only applies to nursing home residents. That assumption can cost families. It can apply to anyone needing regular help at home, including from a spouse. The right question is not, am I in a nursing home? The right question is, do I meet the requirements? Number 8, verify your payment changes. Running underneath all of it is this year's cost of living adjustment, which lifted VA disability compensation and pension payments starting in December of last year. That increase applies automatically, no paperwork required, but it's worth checking your direct deposit statement against the official rate tables to confirm your payment reflects it accurately, especially if your rating or dependent status changed recently. The wrong approach is assuming every system update is perfect. The better approach is checking. You can verify it yourself. Now here's your action list heading into fall. First, watch your mail and your va.gov inbox for the Concurrent Benefits election notice if you're retired with 20 plus years of service and rated 50% or higher. And don't let the deadline pass without comparing both options against your actual numbers. Second, if you're a surviving spouse who was previously denied DIC, request a review under the updated criteria. Third, if you serve somewhere covered under the PACT Act and haven't filed, or were denied before your condition became presumptive, file a supplemental claim. Fourth, if you're managing a condition like sleep apnea or a mental health diagnosis and haven't filed yet, consider locking in your effective date now with an intent to file. And fifth, confirm your COLA increase actually shows up correctly in your payment, because errors in these system-wide updates are more common than people assume. None of this requires a lawyer, a fee, or anyone doing it for you. Every piece of it is something you can start on va.gov, over the phone, or with a free accredited veteran service officer. The changes rolling out this September aren't a secret, but they also aren't going to be explained to you in plain language unless you go looking for it. And that's exactly why paperwork like this so often gets set aside and forgotten until it's too late to fix. I am no licensed expert, so make sure to check all of this information with verified sources, va.gov, your VSO, or a qualified financial professional. before you make any moves based on what you heard here today. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever received a VA notice or government letter that looked confusing but ended up affecting your benefits? Tell me your experience in the comments. I read every single one. And before you go, watch the next video because we're breaking down another overlooked benefit change involving one simple piece of paperwork that many veterans already have sitting at home. Look for the document on your desk. It could be the difference between leaving benefits behind and finally claiming what you earned. Check your paperwork, ask the questions, stay informed.